Welcome to this rapid revision session on Manifest Destiny and Westward expansion. Firstly, there are quite a few keywords and terms that you'll need to know. So in Cloak's compendium of annoying old-fashioned words that you need to know are migration, the movement of people from one place to another. Remember, some animals migrate as well. Emigrant, someone who moves away from somewhere. Immigrant, someone moving into an area. Some quite geographical words here. Push factor, a reason that forces or encourages someone to leave. A pull factor, a reason attracting somewhere else. And manifest destiny. This was the belief, really taken on by the American government at this time, that God wanted white people or Europeans to take over the whole of the North American continent and therefore make it civilized like it was in Europe. And yes, that whole idea is loaded in a whole load of cultural problems and even racism. But that's really what manifest destiny meant, and a lot of people, especially Europeans, really believed it in the time that we're studying. This painting is often called Westward Ho, or Westward, the course of empire takes its way. It's effectively a piece of American expansionist propaganda. It hangs today in the US Capitol building. But what on earth is it telling us? It shows a group of settlers moving west towards sunlight, which makes the plains look golden and exciting. It's suggesting that there is a better life in the west for these migrants. It's hard to tell really, is that meant to be a sunrise or a sunset? Well, if they're moving west, presumably that's a sunset. There's a waving man on top. It's supposed to represent the eagerness of Europeans to move west and fulfill this idea of manifest destiny. There are men, women and children all travelling west to a new life. There are mountains, plains and forest. This is not meant to be a specific location, but it's meant to represent the great diversity and variety of landscapes in the North American continent. And there are guns, which suggest there might be violence. But against whom? You may notice as well that there is a cross there, representing the Christianity moving west too. And there are poor people. This suggests that people who moved were looking for a better life. Let's consider push and pull factors, why people decided to move from the east to the west. This map shows the Oregon Trail, marked out in red, and yes, there are a couple of different routes as well, depending on which route someone wanted to take. People started over in the east in Independence, Missouri, and they moved west to the US territory of Oregon. Today, Oregon and Washington are fully fledged states. Tens of thousands of people moved along this route. It was an arduous and dangerous journey. So, what pushed them away from the east? And what pulled them towards the west? Here we're going to consider some push factors, such as cities in the east becoming very crowded and disease-ridden, and the fact that there were too few jobs in the east. 25% of people were unemployed in 1837, so they were looking for new work and new opportunities out west. But there are also a huge number of pull factors too, things attracting people out west. Cities in the west were quiet and cleaner. People were needed to do jobs in the west. People believed in this idea of manifest destiny, as we've described before. In 1849, gold was discovered in the West. Well, actually, it was discovered in 1848, but 1849 is the more famous year of the gold rush. Poor people saw the chance to move to a new life in the West. Safe routes have been found to help people make their way west. And I've put safe in inverted commas there because actually they were still pretty dangerous. The government gave people money to encourage them to move west as well. And also the government reports made the West look manageable to get to. So for all these reasons, both push and pull factors, people moved from east to west. But let's have a look at the chronology of migration. There are a certain number of quite distinct periods of migration where there's more than at other times. Firstly, there was a financial crisis in the USA. That was in 1836. As a consequence, unemployment and low wages meant that many people were desperate for a new start in the West. Fremont was commissioned to survey the Oregon Trail. This was completed in 1837. This started the Oregon Trail by migrants, showing the route. The first migrants reached Oregon. That was in 1841. and positive reports that they sent back about how easy or comparatively easy the Oregon Trail was to travel convinced large groups of people to follow them and migrate west. Also, gold was discovered in the Sierra Nevada. That was in 1848. 100,000 people travelled to California during the gold rush of 1849 by land. Some final points then. Manifest Destiny convinced white Americans that they had a God-given right to colonize the whole North American continent. A variety of push and pull factors attracted migrants west, mostly pull factors though. And the Oregon Trail was established, making westward migration a more practical and possible exercise. Westward migration, therefore, increased. That's the end of this video. I hope it's been useful in outlaying the main reasons why people move west and what Manifest Destiny really means. But this is going to cause a lot of conflict later on and a lot of further developments, so this is really only an introduction. If it's something that you're really keen for me to cover in these rapid revision sessions, pop something down in the comments below. I hope it's been useful, and if it has, like the video, it helps the channel to grow, and subscribe to the channel too for more content like this every week. Thanks very much, and goodbye.